All right, guys, welcome to a new series. Now, this is going to be a couples adventure series, so it's going to be me and my wife playing this new game, New World. We've been looking forward to this. Been practicing, been doing some other games together, trying to get things up and running. And here we go, day one. We're waiting for this to load up, waiting for the servers to load up. Now, this is a voiceover, so this is after the fact. And I did a little boo-boo. I mean, my wife was actually did better than I did. So I was like sitting here wondering, like, yo, why aren't the servers up? Amazon actually had a history of bringing up servers early. And actually, I was up during the EU launch, which actually happened at 2 a.m., where this one was scheduled, I believe, happened at 8 a.m., I think it was. So it was like 8 o'clock, and I hit record, and I'm like, man, where are these servers at, though? I'm looking at it. There's no servers. My wife is over there on her PC too. She got up during the EU launch too. So we were trying to reserve our names, which really didn't end up needing to because our names aren't very common. But in any case, we're looking. I'm waiting for it here and nothing. No one. I'm like, whoa, maybe what I should do is close it down and reopen it. I mean, obviously, my computer's launching pretty good, right? So, yeah. Let's go ahead and let's show you what happened here. So yeah, close it down a little bit. I'm sitting here, okay, refreshing everything. Close it down. And yeah, your boy did a boo-boo. All right, so that was like a 20-minute wait, guys. It was a while to get in. Definitely a while. So what I did was I started up here. And if you didn't play in the beta or the open beta or the closed beta, this is how you start out. This is the tutorial, right? It tells you basically how to use a lot of the moves. I was pretty familiar, but I wanted to get just to the part to where I got my shield. Because I'm going to be running sword and shield for the first bit to try to make sure we have a tank whenever we need. Boom. But that just shows you, as you see, which buttons to hit to do certain attacks or the block or whatever it be. And I'm still in here because I'm like, yo, I need to get my shield. So I'll get my rations, everything's like, boom, all right, got my shield, got my food, and we outie. We need to get in the world, So I was like, let's go ahead, hit escape, get on this game menu, and skip to the world. So there we go. And as you would expect, again, on launch day, and this game has had a lot of hype to it, and I can't blame it. I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed playing both betas, and I wasn't an alpha. I don't go back that far, but I did play both betas. I enjoyed the gameplay, and here we go. And I'm looking. You can see, yeah, a lot of people as you'd expect in the beginning of the game. Now this was like, bro, this is too many. Like you go up here, and this is the first quest giver and everything. It's like this is a lot of people. There's a lot of people all running around here. There's purple people here. Now, one of the other things about this game that I sort of was unhappy about, you could say, is you don't really get to start out with your friends. Like, my wife had already started. She'd been playing for a good 20 minutes because the queue was like 20 to 30 minutes to get through those 400 and some odd people. And she was already, like, playing. But you can't pick to start in the same area. If you got friends or whatever, you do have to start by yourself. So here's me starting by myself. I did find my wife, her name is Anne Bonnie, or, that's the name that she's picking as her character. And I went ahead and added her as a friend and everything. But again, can't really join up at the beginning here. We have to wait until we get our quests aligned. So, and I'm starting out running with the sword and shield. Again, sort of going to roll with that for the beginning of this series just to make sure we have a tank whenever we need to. I did tank a bit in the betas just to make sure I knew how and that I could do that kind of thing. So at least up through the first few excavations, I think they're called. The dungeons are called excavations, I think, in this one. But in any case, just starting to do these little mini quests, man. And again, I'm excited. It's the gameplay in this one is really fun. As in any new game, people get excited. We'll see how long the hype lasts. Maybe I'm just hyping myself up, right? But I've enjoyed it. I like the idea that anybody can play any class, basically. There's no classes in this game. The only class you could say are specs, if you want to call them those, is your attributes. You do have to mess around with your attributes in order to be more effective at your class, and also your weapon skills. So everybody gets to pick their own weapon skills. You know, every time you level up your weapons, you get the ability to put a specialized point, a weapon skill point into that class, you could call it, and or into that weapon skill, and pick, you know, from different abilities that you have there. So here's the crafting logistics. You know, I'm sort of going through this because I want to try to get ahead of some of the people, or at least ahead of the crowd. I don't want to be like 50 people, you know. But I will say this too, on retrospect, they've done a really good job of handling the spawns. And, you know, as far as when you've got this many people, they up the spawns, and they up the spawn timers, where it's, you don't feel like you're waiting for a whole bunch of mobs or a specific NPC. I was concerned about that because in one of the closed betas, there's a certain mobs, you know, you would go to, and there'd be like 30 people hanging around, and it's a 10-minute spawner, and there's like one person, and, you know, your groups, you can only get up to like 5 people in a group. So then that means you got like 6 different groups, and whoever gets you know, you have to do I don't think it's a majority of damage. You can have more than one group get credit for the kill, but you have to put in a certain amount of damage. And if you got 6 different groups trying to kill the same mob, you may have 1 or 2 groups that finish that quest, and then the other 4 groups have to wait 10 minutes, right? So I was concerned about that going into this beta. Luckily, people were smarter than you give them credit for, and the developers, and these guys up the spawns. I mean, they up the spawn timers and the spawns. So you had more mobs to actually go and fight, and those mobs would respawn faster. And that was a good idea. I mean, hey, that's a good way to solve that problem. You know, it's obviously something that they can adjust, and it looks, you know, I feel like they have adjusted during the gameplay to where it's not as fast to spawn nowadays. Like, this was pre-filmed like you know, on launch day. So the 28th is when we actually filmed this, and now it's the 31st that we're getting ready to edit this stuff, because we've just been having so much fun. We haven't gone back in editing, but, you know, we do want to get these out so people can see, you know, what we're doing anyway. You know, and it's an exciting time for us too to be playing together and filming together and editing together, so we can get these out together. So, and again, if you've ever seen any of my other series, I think the only one I have up is the Minecraft one now. But I'm not like a professional YouTuber, guys. I do this for fun, and my wife likes it too. She saw me doing it, and she wanted to be a part of it as well. And because it is fun, you know, if you're doing it just for, you know, the fun of it kind of thing. So don't expect it to be like, oh, a professionally edited, like, great series that I have all these plans for. Nah, dude, I got like small following, a small group of people who mostly probably don't even care about this kind of content, but I'm just playing what I have fun with. So, and we've been looking forward to this. So again, the crafting in this game, I'm just crafting up my tools here, because if you look at here where the F3 is right here, you can see that's where you have your different tools. So right now I have my skinning, I have my logging, and I think I had like my harvesting tool. And these are just tools that make harvesting faster and better. So here you can see, you know, I killed this boar, and anybody can skin and stuff like that. Now this guy, I don't know what he was expecting. He was like, I think he like asked me for some help, but bro, it's launch day. Ain't nobody got time for that nonsense. You know what I mean? I say, hey, can you help me? It's like, bro, it's launch day. I don't even have the time to respond to this. It's like, okay, I'm just gonna pretend like I'm a Asia farmer or something. I'm just gonna keep going. I didn't no comprende, dude. Sorry, but you know, moving along with the quest. So now it says the quest, cook a light fire. So again, we'll go back into the crafting, and there's some things you have to be at a certain place to craft. So here we go, light ration, and I crafted it. So, and again, anybody can do any of the professions. You don't have to, there's no like 1 or 2 limit on professions. Everybody can be cooking or engineering or furniture making, whatever, you know, there's different professions for. Everybody can do those professions. You can max out every profession if you wanted to, which I'm guessing most people will, because why not, right? I mean, if you're finished, you know, a lot of people will end up making it, you know, you could say a lot of people make alts so that they can experience other professions or other classes. Well, in this game, you only have 2 character slots, but I don't foresee much use or need for alts, because we're going to have the ability to go to everything anyway. Hey, you're bored with this weapon or that weapon, right? Just go to another weapon and level that weapon up and play with that weapon. So no use or no need to like respec everything or redo a character anyway. So think it'll be interesting. I've never played a game like that. I've heard there's other games. People make claims to RuneScape. Never played it myself. This is kind of familiar with that. They say Guild Wars was the Guild Wars 2. I think I played where it like actually mattered as far as like aiming and stuff. There's no tab targeting in this game, so it's not like you can target someone and just hit your buttons and the spells automatically target that person kind of thing. No, you do have to actually be looking, and your cursor has to be pointed towards that target in order to hit them, which, like I said, the only game I think I played that was Guild Wars 2. Mostly MMORs. I played like Star Wars Galaxies way back in the day, old school, and I played World of Warcraft like everybody else has. And I played some Rift, and I've played some, on the side, like there's a Neverwinter, I think. Yeah, I played Neverwinter and things like that, but we're excited, man. This one right here, it looks like it's going to be good. It definitely has enough of a player base to make things interesting. And a little bit more info about the game if you haven't been keeping up with it. But basically, it does seem to be somewhat PvP orientated. I think that the developers have come off that a bit and have developed more of the PvE side of it as well, from what I understand and looking the game up and reading about it. But there's 3 different factions, so... And basically, the only difference in these factions is the colors. I mean, it's the colors, and that's it. Like, everything else is the same. Everybody gets the same specs. Nobody has, like, special things, and you take over territories. So it's not like you have certain areas that are going to be your areas. They are fought over during the gameplay. And if your guild, or in this game, they're called companies, takes over a place, they get the benefits of owning this place. Like, they get the taxes that they can fund, or certain increased abilities, or you could say ability to like increase the crafting stations in these places to their needs or wants. So it's interesting. I'm looking forward to see how that runs too. There's been a lot of hype about the wars that take place where it's like 50 on 50 or even more so, and kind of concerned about that, because obviously you get that many people, there's gonna be lag, right? And from the gameplay footage I've seen, there has been some lag. Well, I'm interested to see how they handled that. I'm more hopeful now, seeing as how they handled the actual spawns at launch. That's something that many people, in any launch day have seen, like, yo, why didn't they figure this out? Why is this all laggy? Why are the spawns all messed up? This is something that I've seen in multiple games where they have that kind of situation. But in this one, they handled it really well. Like, people have said, like, hey, why don't they just up the spawns? Where they did. You know what I mean? Or why don't they just lower the respawn timers? Well, they did. So it actually played fairly decently. I mean, really well for any game that I've seen on launch. And like I said, 3, 4, 5 different games I played on launch, and this was one of the ones that I was actually really impressed with. So as you can see, I had no problems with these quests. It's like, hey, go kill some of these people. I had no problems finding the spawns. Even with this many people running around on the starter beach, I wasn't waiting. They were there when I needed them, and I didn't have to sit there and wait 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes, an hour for a spawn to come up so I could do the quest. And I was able to move on. So then it's also kind of walking you through, it's already walked you through a couple of things of, here's the skills. So that's, I'm going to the right side of it is the tanking, but there you could see just a second how there were skills that you could pick and go down from there. And like I said, I'm going towards the tanking side of it more. So you're going to see me on the defender end of the sword and board. And, that's where we're heading with that. Now this, what I'm doing here, where I'm rolling, is just a little thing you could do to sort of increase your speed if you have light armor status. And again, anybody can use any armor in this game as well. The decision comes in on how you want to dodge, right? So the heavier armor you have, the less of a dodge you get, which, makes sense. That you take less physical damage, obviously, because the heavier armor, the more protection you get from physical damage. But you also sacrifice your mobility. So right now, starting out, I have very light armor because I just started out. Like, what do I got? Like a shirt and a shield, right? So the dodge is an actual roll that you see me going on right here. And one of the other things you can do is if you draw your weapon, which is X by default, at the same time as you roll, you don't get a stutter step, what I call it. It's like normally when you roll, you'll get like a stutter step. You'll stop like at the end of the roll, you'll stop for a second, and it doesn't really seem like it's helping you speed up at all because you get that stop. But if during your roll you draw your weapon, or you draw a different weapon, or you put your weapon up, it doesn't give you that stutter step. So it's just a little tip that you can use to sort of move a little faster, and I tried to utilize that. I know that it takes 50 stamina, and that's the stamina bar filling down up down there. It takes 50 stamina to do a roll with this kind of armor setting, this light armor setting. So I knew that, and I was just wait till I get 50. Now this is one of the things you're concerned on right here. Right? So right now we have a quest that says to defeat the corrupted chaplain, and there's like a whole bunch of people here. So I felt like, oh man, I didn't do enough damage. Is this going to be one of those situations where there's going to be like 40 different people sitting here waiting for this guy, or even 5, 6, 7 different people waiting for this guy? But boom, look, already spawned again. So the spawn rating, the spawn timer was awesome. It was right back up. I was able to complete my quest. So are these other 5 or 6 guys, and we're just moving along. My wife, when she got in, and again, my wife, she actually was able to start immediately because she wasn't a nub like me, and restarted my game when the launch happened. And then she wasn't in the queue for 20, 30 minutes. She actually said that it took her a little while to get that guy because there were so many people there, but I didn't see that. Again, and you could definitely tell the respawn was definitely lowered. The respawn timer is definitely lowered because normally in the betas anyway, that guy was like 5 to 10 minutes to respawn. Not that it was a big problem then because there weren't that many people at that point trying to do that guy. So I don't know if it's automatically the spawns are happening based on how many people are there, or if it was manually done. So they manually will take a look at how many people were around and if they needed to increase or decrease the spawn rate. But whatever they did, it worked. I was able to get that quest done and move on immediately. So at this point, pretty much done with the Nub Beach, you could say. It's moving me on to Everfall, which is the city that I spawned closest to, which I was kind of happy about that because I knew Everfall, and it is kind of a home base for a lot of the new stuff. Here I picked standing gain, I think, because I know XP gain sounds like it's like a big deal, but I mean, eventually you're going to be done with XP. I'm guessing probably 2-3 weeks into the game, probably most people are going to be, if not at max level, they're going to be approaching max level, and XP isn't going to be that big of a deal. So standing, I know from previous games that rep grinding is always a little bit of an issue. Nobody really loves rep grinding, so I wanted to do that first, and maybe some of the other things, like as you do more quests, you get more rep, you get to decide how do you want to use that rep, and maybe to decrease the cost of crafting or increase the amount of storage that you get. Something I want to do. Another thing about this game that's unique to the games I've played anyway is that there's no like central bank where you can access your bank from anywhere or from different places. Every city has its own bank, its own crafting area, or you know what I mean, like its own crafting stuff. So you may have one city that has a level 3 arcane crafting area, and another city has like a level 2 arcane crafting area, and it's up to whoever controls that city to increase those skills or increase those different crafting stations. So, and obviously the higher the crafting station, the more the higher the I guess you could say the stuff that you craft, so the higher level stuff you can craft. So that's something. But again, there's no like central bank, and there's no central auction house either. Every auction house is dependent on what is in that city. Now you can see what's in different cities. So if like I'm in Everfall, which is the city I started out, and I wanted to see if there were other things available in other cities, you could see like if there was a weapon I was looking for, I could broaden the search and see if there's a weapon available in another city. But in order to purchase that, if it's not in Everfall, I'd have to actually go to that city. And crafting rise, if you have things in your bank in Everfall that you can make a certain potion with, but for whatever reason you're in like Windward, or if you're in one of the other cities and that stuff isn't in that bank, then you can't craft. You have to go back to Everfall to craft with it. You know what I mean? So I'll see how that plays out too. It's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. That idea didn't appeal to me very much. I like the idea of being able just to craft for whatever city I'm in or have access to whatever thing I do, especially because this game doesn't have mounts, guys. It doesn't have mounts yet. I don't know if they're even looking at mounts at this point. You know, everybody, a lot of people have been talking about it, but there's no mounts right now. So you booking it. This is Running Simulator 2021 we're dealing with, but it's not too bad, honestly. Maybe it takes like 10 minutes to get from one place to another if you just, you know, run straight to it. And there's a lot of things to do in between it, so it's not too bad. And again, you know, I'd already made myself a pick, and, you know, I made myself the thing to harvest with, and the, I believe the skinning knife, so. Oh, and I made an axe. That's what it was, an axe too. So here I'm, you know, hitting on some boulders, because you got to level your stuff up, you know what I mean? You can't do other mining nodes until you have done the, you know, novice mining nodes, which is what I'm doing right here. Boulders are the first things that you can pretty much mine with your little nub pickaxes. So just increasing that, and as you can see on mine level 1, I got 53 mining experience for that and some stone. So, and here I am, just, you can sort of see how I'm catching up to this guy because I'm using this roll technique where you just basically roll, and as you roll you're putting up your stuff, and you can see it's not that much faster, but it's a little faster, you know. I get a little bit of heads up, so every little bit helps, you know. I was obviously already running behind because of myself not getting into the instance that much. So let's go ahead and move forward a little bit here, because, so, you know, eventually we'll get back into the city, and here I am in the city, and, you know, going to deliver this next quest I got, and we're getting in now a little bit of the armor. So if you look right here on the left side, you can see that this is your armor, and right now I'm light. I'm 11.5 out of 50 weight, and that's light armor. And that's what dictates what your dodge is and how much damage reduction and stuff. Moving on, you know, there's a kitchen tier 2. These are the crafting stations, so as you can see, I'm sure we'll have a lot of that in the in the future videos here of crafting and what we do. And this is the inn, so I went ahead and, you know, did a guest registration and check into the inn. So this, I can quick travel back to inns. Any inn that you're at, you can quick travel back. It's an hour, basically a hearth, if you played World of Warcraft, where you can fast travel back to that for no cost. And, you know, I honestly already made myself an axe, but that quest gave us an axe. But I was already looking at it, if you see there. So you can salvage materials, which is what I just did there. I knew I wasn't going to use that axe. You can't really just vendor things in this game so much that I'm aware of. You either can sell them on the auction house or you can salvage them. And salvaging is good because then that's how you repair. When you salvage an item, you get repair parts, and if you want to repair items later, you have to use those repair parts. So that's what we do. This is our trading post. Not much to see there just yet. The game's kind of new, and I don't have any gold to really go shopping. So now, look at our next quest. And we're going to be, it says talk to Avida Masia. Now, there's no mini-map, but there's a heads-up display on the upper part, which basically leads you to, you know, where your quests are and stuff, which I'm okay with. It's different, you know, and hey, it's nice to have something a little different than, you know, what you're used to. If it was a WoW clone, you know, you would see a mini-map and there'd be like tracking on the mini-map, but this is sort of a heads-up display compass, which, I mean, it works, and it's not something that you may be used to, but it's different, and I like it enough to where it just feels like it's not like I'm playing the same game, you know. So this quest here, I'd actually already been gathering some things, so you can see I already have most of the trees, and I already had all of the skinning rawhide I needed. So now I just need to pick up some boulders, which your boy is mining. And doing here, preferences, gameplay. Oh yeah, I wanted to make sure this auto traverse was off, because that could mess with you. There'll be a lot of times you like run up to something to mine it or something, and you automatically jump over it because that auto traverse is on. But it seemed to keep the settings that I had in beta, which is cool. I didn't know it would do that, but I don't even know how. Maybe it just referenced it locked in my account, so it is what it is. And again, we're still in starter quest here, so now it's got me going in to craft this stuff after I've gathered the resources. Now I go in and I'm going to craft it. So let's fast forward to that. Here we go. I'm making some, went to the wood shop tier, the station, and this is the stone cutting. So I'm just going to go ahead and stone cut, get all the stuff I can. That's part of the quest anyway, I believe. if I'm not mistaken. If it isn't, it isn't. Yeah, see? And then now I gotta do the leather at the tannery. So it's basically showing you, hey, this is how you gather stuff, and after you gather stuff, you know, it's familiarizing you with the idea that you have to go to different stations in order to utilize those materials. So it's not like it's just you can craft anything anywhere. You can craft anything. It doesn't matter, you know, it's not like I said, you don't have certain professions you pick, but you do have to be at certain crafting stations in order to craft certain things. So here I am just crafting up all the stuff I have because, you know, if I need more rawhide, I'll just go out and get it. And I'm sorry if it feels like I'm zooming through this, guys. It's, again, trying to get to the part where me and my wife are playing together, and we have to get to the hermit first to get to that part. So I'm just running through these beginner quests, which, you know, if you have more questions about it, feel free to ask, but it's pretty straightforward. Any game you play, it's going to be like, hey, these are how the tools work. This is how the combat works. You know, these are the buttons you use. This is how crafting works. The game does a good job of introducing you to that. Even if you've never played one of these games before, it walks you through, if you pay attention, how this works, how these works. Now I'm zooming through because one, I played the beta, and two, I've played games like this before. So yeah, maybe I missed something and I have to like go in and look at it, but overall, I pretty much knew what I was doing, so I was just zooming through stuff. So it's not going to be a how-to. It's just going to be like how shade to how I'm just running through and doing things. So, and this is like, okay, go and, you know, here's some material. Maybe you have or hadn't gotten any ore yet. Here's some ore, and go, you know, craft some stuff using this higher edge material. So again, I know a little bit what I'm doing. So I go to the smeltery and I smelt up the iron, and I don't have any reason to keep the ore. I know that there's some quests you could do from the city, as far as it may require ore or whatever, but I'd rather just have the iron like bars so I can make tools, because one of my first goals is going to be to upgrade these flint tools that I made with some iron tools, so it makes gathering faster. And, you know, obviously if you're gathering faster, that means your skills are increasing faster, and that's just a common goal that I think a lot of people have at the beginning. So here I'm doing the quest. You know, I don't really need this iron sword, but it's part of the quest. So, done with that. Add a warhammer. Oh, because that's going to be my secondary weapon, so I just go ahead and make a warhammer. Now, at that point, I wasn't sure if I was going to stick with the warhammer or if I was going to go with the great axe. So still, even at this point, I have leveled them both up to an extent to where I have, you know, some of the skills available, but I do know it's going to be a strength central weapon that I want to have. I just haven't decided if it's going to be the warhammer or the great axe. So we'll see. I've also leveled the bow because it's good for pulling, and having some kind of ranged weapon is just a good idea in my head, that if I'm going to PvP, I want to be able to shoot somebody from a distance as well. So leveling that up just for the moment. Its secondary is dexterity, which doesn't hurt this sword and board either, so why not, right? Moving on, though, now you can see it's like having a camp point, and you can see all these camps because everybody else is doing this quest. So it's kind of funny to me. You know, a lot of people are like, it's an eyesore, which I guess you could say it is, but I don't mind it. You know, obviously this is not going to be the same in a week or 2 weeks. You're not going to see a crap ton of camps anymore because people are going to be beyond that part in their character development. And so, you know, I just think it's cool too that you can create something out in the wilderness somewhere that's like a spawn point or a crafting station, central hub for you that, you know, has a thing. Moving on. I think it's like, okay, so eventually I pick up those bushes. So, and then boom, I make it, move back, and whew, I got a camp. So now we're moving on into the dub questing. Now I got to defeat these wolves. Again, this is a good example to me anyway. It's like there are obviously a great deal of people who are doing this quest right now, but I never really felt that it was hard for me to get the spawn. You know, I never felt that it was hard for me to find something to kill. So I got to defeat them. And there you go. See, look, one spawned immediately. Had no problems. On to the next one. I got to kill 5 of these things. It's not like it's hard to find them. And I want to skin them because I want to increase my skinning and everything, as well as get materials for if I want something else. So no problem. By the time I'm done, skinning these things and everything, boom, here's some more. It's pretty easily done. There's one right there. And it's funny because it's like, at this point, I'm coming to realize, like, hey, it's not hard to find a spawn, so I don't feel the need to go over there and tag that thing. And even when these guys start going over there and killing it, I'm not like, oh man, that sucks, I'm not going to be able to find one, because boom, there goes another one spawned right there. So pretty happy with the spawn rates at the start here. But moving on, now I'm traveling to this next den. Let's see what we get here. All right. Got us a wolf. All right, so it's saying to defeat and skin these wolves. There's one. Got a new skill point, or a new attribute point. Went ahead and put that in there. Let's get this next one. Now I'm messing with my big hammer, right? Because I'm trying to get some skills with that too. Go to the next one. But we'll call it here at this one. This was just our first episode. It does take us a little while I think after the next one is when we actually meet up and we're starting to quest together. But this was the first episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Saw a little bit of where I'm going with it. Again, sorry if I'm moving fast or whatever. I'm just trying to get to the actual gameplay that I can play with my wife. So in any case, guys, go ahead, leave a like, comment, subscribe, if you want to motivate us to get these out faster. And if you have any ideas or tips and tricks that you'd like to see us do, let us know. And in the meantime, have a good day.